Hey, Young Turks, this is Nomi Konst. We are here in Baltimore where the final official DNC Futures Forum just finished up. And, I was sitting, just watching the show, checking my tweets, listening to some of the members get up and ask questions. And a lot of them are the same old questions because I've been through a lot of these forums. And I saw a familiar face get up and ask an outstanding, thoughtful question. We have Jane Klebb, the founder of Bold, Nebraska. You probably recognize her from that. She was also she's the chair of the Nebraska State Democratic Party, newly elected. She was a Bernie Sanders surrogate. Am I missing anything?
You and I get to be on the Unity Commission together for the DNC.
Is that public yet?
Yes, it is public. The delegates for Sanders are. So we will be reforming the Superdelegate process.
Get ready! So what was the question you asked?
I asked what the person who wins chair is going to do about groups like OFA, Organizing for America, which is acting like a shadow party and taking resources away from parties. I mean, they're literally hiring staff, opening up offices, when all of that money should be going to the state party and should be organizing through the state party. And to be honest, I didn't really get a good answer. I think people like to dance around this, but as a Democratic Party, we have to have hard conversations. And one of them is going to donors saying, we're going to have a new party. We're going to have a party that actually talks to issues, that's going to be with activists in the streets. And so therefore, we don't need this outside pretend party anymore.
Why do you think OFA wants to organize independently, especially when they have such a bad track record?
Well, if you ask OFA people, and if you read some of the articles that have come out recently, they essentially have no trust and confidence in the DNC and in the state parties. They think that they can do it better. And this is what happens when you live inside a DC bubble. You always think, as a consultant, that you know better, that you can do more things, and that you're going to get the job done. When in reality, what I see happening all the time is these DC consultants get a $25,000, $50,000 contract, and then they call people like me to get the work done. It's crazy what's happening in our politics. It has to stop. We have to get back to the fundamentals of funding the state parties fully. I mean, myself, I'm an unpaid chair. In a lot of states, it is like that. It is crazy. We don't have enough money to have an executive director. I'm not alone. That's how our party's being run.
I've been covering this beat for the past, 2-3 months. No stranger to the party and the party politics. And from day one, when there was a first discussion in Denver, to Phoenix, to Houston, to Detroit, now we're here today, and of course there were some other unofficial debates in between. The money it started off as it's the Bernie wing versus the Hillary wing. Yeah. Now it is very clear that it is about the consultant bubble in DC wanting to have a stranglehold on the budget over the DNC members who want money to be funneled back to the states. And it's really refreshing to hear that. I have a question for you. Yeah. I just interviewed Secretary Perez for the first time. And this is after I've interviewed all the chair candidates several times. And I asked him specifically, I said, how do you feel about this? And he says, we need to put money back into the state level, and we need to cut those big ad buy budgets and those big, all the stuff that's sucking the resources out of the Democratic Party. And then I followed up and I said, well, then how do you feel about the Unity Commission, which is there to set the rules of the party, being co-chaired by someone who has one of the largest contracts with the DNC? And I'm talking about Precision Strategies, which is rumored to be supporting Tom Perez. You're going to be on the Unity Commission. You're a state chair. Do the conflicts of interest? Did you hear anybody talking about conflicts of interest?
No, nobody talks about conflict of interest, and this is how business has been done for decades, is that somebody runs a campaign, they're successful, and then they open up a consulting firm. We see this everywhere. Jeremy Bird, Stephanie Cutter, all people who I love, but this is the status quo. You run a campaign, you open a consulting firm, and then you make hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm sorry. This has got to end. The Democratic Party does not exist so people can buy second homes on the beach. The Democratic Party exists to elect Democrats. So no more consultants. And to be honest, Chair Brazil has cut a lot of the consultants. In the time that she's actually been free of the kind of Obama operatives telling her what to do, she's been able to actually clean up a lot of the mess. And I hope that the next chair actually sits down with her, because she has a lot of really good ideas and was really handcuffed by doing a lot of big changes.
You notably endorsed Bernie, supported Bernie, you were a surrogate, but you're also a DNC member. And there aren't a lot of Bernie DNC members who were for Bernie. So I don't think that it's fair to divide the members on Bernie lines versus Hillary lines. But Because of your known support, are you still getting phone calls from other chair candidates and vice chair candidates who are looking for your support?
Yeah, no, I get calls from all the candidates, especially the vice chairs, because there's so many of them. And I think it is unfair to divide the race between Bernie and Clinton because so many people in both of those worlds went back and forth. And Ellison, who I'm proudly supporting, supported Bernie very early and then campaigned for Secretary Clinton like all of us did, right? We were doing everything to get that base of voters, who I call like movement voters, the issue voters, to the polls to vote for Secretary Clinton. And I didn't get to ask this question inside, but I wanted to ask the chair candidates, what are you going to do about this major issue within the Democratic Party? You have people in the streets on issues that the Democratic Party is silent on. Dakota Access, Keystone XL, the TPP. It is a major problem. And that has to be addressed because those are the people we need to be voting. And I hear Democrats talking all the time, the DNC is about electing Democrats. You can't elect Democrats without voters. And these voters are in the streets. So where are you?
Would you be for term limits for DNC members? 'Cause a lot of these people have been there for a long time.
I absolutely think term limits for every office, whether it's school board or a DNC member, is always a good idea. And I know some people think, though, then lobbyists run the show. You need new blood. Like, we just need more people in the system. And if you have the old guard there constantly protecting their seat, then new ideas can't come to the table.
Thank you, Jane. Chair of the Nebraska Democratic Party, Jane Klebb, founder of Bold Nebraska. And we didn't even get to talk about the pipeline, which...
I know. It's really messed up, but we're going to stop it again in Nebraska. It'll be the third time we stop Keystone XL. Thanks.